Well, good evening everyone and welcome to Inside Line Racing. We are in the desert for round 2 in ILR1 at the fantastic Sakhir International Circuit in the Kingdom of Bahrain. Our first of 3 night races will give us plenty of opportunities to witness these fantastic cars gleaming under those bright lights. Expect plenty of overtaking and some critical tyre strategies as the drivers battle their way around this fast yet very technical circuit. Heavy braking into turn 1 provides the best opportunity for overtakes, but watch out for moves into turn 4 as well. Turns 9 and 10 provide a stern test for all drivers, as braking whilst turning could see cars skittle off the track on the outside, losing critical seconds. Track distance is 3.3 miles with 15 turns, 9 to the right and 6 to the left. The circuit boasts 3 DRS zones, the main straight, the runs from turn 3 to turn 4 and finally the back straight from the double left of 9 and 10 into turn 11. Tyre life is crucial here as the rears burn up a lot quicker than at other circuits, but the one stop should prevail. My name is Alex Lilio, your ILR1 commentator. Thank you very much to everyone tuning in. Now 15 minutes left of the qualifying session. A majority of drivers out on the circuit at the moment. Softs, mediums and hards are the compound C1, 2 and 3. We can see a mix of both the soft and the hard compound tyres out there at the moment. This is pretty much a one-stop race. Softs onto hards, hards onto softs, but don't be surprised to see a few people out there try and dice their strategy up with a stint on the medium tyres. The two-stop is slower. The only real reason we'll see people on the two-stop strategy is if they have to pit very early on for accident damaging. So whilst we wait for the first couple of laps to filter in, there is some penalties, or at least one penalty to talk about. Obviously these aren't discussed during the stream for the race. These penalties are submitted in the next day or two after the race, and then reviewed by the ILR steward team and then deemed any action is taken if deemed necessary. So Francis McGinn has got 5 seconds to be added to his total race time for causing an incident with ILRT Cliffy in Australia. So if Francis McGinn finishes this race, no matter where he does, he'll have 5 seconds put onto his race time at the end of the race. So if he wins the race and he's 4 seconds ahead of, I don't know, Sparks for example, then he will lose the race lead. So that's something we'll have to keep an eye on as the session does go on. And talking about Sparks then, he is making his debut then in ILR1. We've got 3 reserves in tonight. So Sparks replacing ILRT Louis in the Mercedes, who's unavailable. And we've got both the Haas drivers of Gonanen and ILRT Lickle who are missing. So we've got NSX Dusty and Aaron Collingwood, who are both in the Haas for this evening. Both NSX Dusty and Alan Collingwood will want to put their disappointing debuts in Australia to rest with a competitive performance tonight, whilst we wait and see what Sparks can do on, of course, his ILR1 debut. As for the Drivers' and Championship standings, well, the Drivers' Championship hasn't changed. Obviously, those inside the top 10 remain as they are. So ILRT Louis, who's not here tonight, currently has the lead of 25 points. Rafa for Alfa Romeo, second place on 18. Then it's Truesdale, Lickle and Janol completing the top 5. As for the Constructors, slightly different. Mercedes lead on 27. Alfa Romeo second on 22, then it's Toro Rosso with 15, Haas 12 and McLaren with 10. We do have some laps already on the board at the moment. Onyx Mer on the hard tyres has done a 128.030, 3 tenths quicker than ILRT Liam Yo in the Red Bull. And then we've got ILRT Janol, NSX Dusty, Kornhoff and Truesdale, who is the first driver on the soft tyres to make a lap time. Some of these guys will be coming around as well. Par 18 is coming into the pits. We've got a few other drivers at the moment. His teammate It's Me currently in sector 3 at the moment. Stay on board with the Racing Point Sport Pisa. See what he can do coming down to the final couple of corners, turn 14 and 15, hugging that left side as best as he can. A little bit twitchy there, under braking as well. The back end just wanting to overtake the front a little bit. Opens a DRS. This won't be a massively competitive time. Indeed, it is a 29.808 as Aaron Collingwood in the soft tyres moves up into 3rd place. So the softs obviously a lot quicker than the hards. We've got a yellow flag in sector 1. I think it's just a car going slowly. So we'll have a quick skill through then to the Ferrari. Sterling West. This is the first time we've seen Sterling West this season. He missed round 1 and he's currently missing the circuit as well as he rejoins, obviously spinning out I believe on the exit of turn 2, and he's safely back on the circuit now, but that's pretty much his lap done and dusted. 11.5 minutes left, so plenty of time for these guys to post some competitive lap times in. As I said, there's tyre strategy, softs onto hards, hards onto softs. Again, expect the mediums at some point around there as well. 15 people currently watching at the moment. Hopefully the numbers do go up. So we're missing 4 of the full-time drivers then. Obviously Gonanen Lickle and Louis I've touched on as well, but poor old Cliffy is the sole representative for the Renault team tonight, as JEASA Paris is still, I believe he's having wheel issues or pedal issues, which is why he's missing the first couple of races as he waits for a new set to arrive. Of course, quite a few people in ILR1 obviously using the wheel and pedal setup rather than the traditional pad. So 10 of the 19 drivers, half the field, have set lap times now. It's me the slowest in the 29.8, on Nixmer still the fastest 28.0. And so Sterling Weston comes round to when he's off the circuit yet again. So we'll have a look at someone else. Rafa is out there at the moment as well. We'll jump on board with him as he negotiates his way around turn 8, hairpin at the bottom of the hill, just locking up the right front there just a little bit on these hard tyres. And now into that very tricky 9 and 10 as well. Braking whilst turning can really unsettle the front and the rear of the car. Don't be surprised in qualifying, especially the race C cars, to shoot off to the outside there over the circuit as well, which is something you don't want to do, because obviously the third and final DRS zone here as well, right over to the right hand side there, really hugging that white line to get the best purchase possible into this left hander coming up the top of the hill. Then on the right as well, stay off that inside curve because the car will bottom out and you will spin into that wall. And again, just a little lock up there on the right front, so Rafa pushing very much as well. Second place of course in Australia, so we know he's got good pace. Whether he's got good pace at Bahrain or not remains to be seen. Hard tyres hammering down through that gearbox, all the way to third. Short shifting up into fourth as well to kill the wheel spin off the rear tyres. Opens up the DRS and coming up to the line. 27, 28, 3-1-0. Puts himself in second place, just 3 tenths off of Onyx Mer. So Onyx Mer and Rafa again showing good pace here as they did in Australia. And with no Louis as well, this is a good opportunity for Rafa to potentially take the lead of the championship tonight. So Liam Yo in the pits at the moment, Speed Barry and Sparks. So good performance so far from Sparks. Hard tyres, 5th place. He's just a couple of hundredths off of his teammate Speed Barry, who we know is a ferociously quick driver. So maybe Sparks is one driver to keep an eye on. As our drivers just filter through now, halfway through this session, Nikito up into 7th place in the lead. Ferrari still very several drivers still yet to post lap times. Quite clearly that everyone has gone for sort of the harder tyre strategy, if it makes sense, making sure they've got hard tyres available in qualifying. Whether some of these guys will try to start on the hard tyres remains to be seen. I am expecting most of them to possibly go onto the softs, maybe the mediums, maybe medium to hard is a strategy as well. Obviously Bahrain being one of those circuits where the tyre life really gets munched upon with the lap set trick bar, and the soft tyres really don't last that long here. So there might be a few out there deciding to set their quick lap times on the medium tyres. Still early enough in the session to really wait and see, as Lakitu in 7th place here, Null 8th, Dusty in 9th, Kornhoff rounds out the top 10. Truesdale only down in 11th place, but he is now out on the hard tyres, which does look like a competitive lap time as well. Can he get anywhere near the front on them? He can, and take provisional pole by just under a tenth of a second. Truesdale, another one of those drivers we saw in Australia. The top 4 really, well the top 3 on the grid at the moment, including ILRT Louis, who's not here, really did set the pace in Australia, and a fantastic 4-way battle for the win and the podium spots in the last 10 or 11 laps in Australia. It looks like then that even though Louis isn't here, the top 3 are still here in Bahrain, and making it quite clear that these may very well be the drivers to beat. VSR Lambo has retired from the session without setting a lap time. I'm not too sure if he's crashed or not. There's yellow flags in sector 1 and 2. Can't find a driver that's anywhere near it at the moment, so I'm not too sure if he crashed or if he's just decided to retire from the session. But as it stands, VSR Lambo is going to be starting pretty much at the back unless someone else fails to set a lap time. More yellow flags out there in sector 3. I'm pretty sure it's just people just slowing up, allowing people to get past. You can see there at the moment. So fitted at the moment. Let's have a look. There are drivers that are dicing and slowly moving on to the medium tyres. Liam Yo in 4th, still in the pits, as is Speed Barry in 6th, Aaron Collingwood in 8th, Kornhoff in 12th, and Sterling West, the only driver on the medium tyres now out on the circuit. So we might be now starting to see some of these drivers go for the medium hard strategy. Soft hard is possible, but it really does require you to be very throttle sensitive. You really don't want to be burning up those rear tyres. And ILRT Rafa then takes provisional pole, 27.878. The lap times are slowly starting to tumble. He's completed 3 laps on those hard tyres as well. So pretty much everyone has set their initial lap With a few drivers, Francis McGinn, Sterling West, it's not really a representable lap time, is it? Sterling West, who is 21 seconds off the pace there. If he is really showing that pace, he should be worried as he just allows his teammate through there. So Sterling West on the outlap on the medium tyres. Quite a few people out on circuit at the moment. Most of the top 10 are in the pits. And this is Francis McGinn then coming round, I believe. Is this a fast lap or is he coming into the pits? He is going for a fast lap and opening a DRS. He will definitely improve from a 36 and goes to a 28.480 into 9th place. But he is about half a second off of his teammate. So Sparkson back out on circuit as well. And he's being pushed down the order because someone's moved up. It's Lakitu into 4th place. So the lead Ferrari driver at the moment into 4th. Might give his teammate a little bit of a tow. Coming up through 3 into 4. And then he'll probably jump out of his way before braking for turn 4. Indeed, he's already lifting off a little bit, allowing his teammate to get a bit of extra speed. Coming up, moves out the way at the final minute as well. And Sterling West will probably set a very competitive Sector 1 time because of it. So Rafa then coming back into the pits. Still just over 5 minutes left of the session. And all these drivers will have an opportunity to go again. This is now the lull that we will expect before the end of the session as everyone gears up for one final lap. Lakitu coming back into the pits after moving up into 4th place. We've got Sparks out there at the moment who is going for it. 2 temps up in Sector 1. I don't know if that's 2 temps up on the best or his personal best. Just puff of smoke there from the right front as he negotiates turn 8. Over to the right hand side now for the double left of 9 and 10. Will he lock up the left front here again? No, pretty nice as well. Nice exit as well. Straightens up the car nicely. Opens up the DRS. And Sparks then, pretty impressive so far. Inside the top 10. Comfortably inside the top 10 as well. In that very Lando Norris-esque helmet. We'll jump aboard with the Mercedes driver then. Into turn 13, again locking up the right front just a little bit. And now down into 14 and 15. Crucial to get the braking right here. You don't want to take too much of an inside curve or indeed run wide as well because you'll lose time at both points. Straighten up the car, up through the gears, open to DRS. Sparks a 28.370. He does improve a 27.981, nearly 4 tenths quicker than his personal best, and it's only put him a tenth of a second away from pole position. So a debut tonight for the reserve driver, and he's stamping his authority down, saying maybe people should be worried about me. Currently in 3rd place, which is great to see from one of the reserves. So we'll have a look then at the fitted. Yet most people now onto the medium tyres then. So medium hard is the strategy to go for by the looks of it. I think Sparks' session may very well be over. He won't be back into the pits until 2.5 minutes left. He's going to find it very tough to get back out on circuit. He's pretty much the only driver out on circuit as well. And we've got a bit of a traffic jam there in the pit lane as Rafa comes out ahead of the Red Bull and his teammate. And here we go then. Just over 3 minutes left of the session. A lot of these drivers now coming back out onto the circuit. Rafa, Truesdale, Liam Yo, one of the first. Conhoff, it's me back out there as well. Pretty much every single driver there is going to be on an outlap in the next 30 seconds or so. And as you can see there, pretty much everyone onto the medium tyres. Sparks then in 3rd place, and where is he? He's still not even back into the pits, and he's well, that's one way of trying to get back to the pits, absolutely bypassing turn 13. I don't think it's going to happen for him. He won't really be back in his garage until at least, well, less than 2 minutes left, and yeah, he's trying. He's really trying to get back. We'll keep one eye on Sparks, see if he does actually manage to get out in time. He might just do it. He might just do it. Absolutely flying into the pit lane then, not caring one iota. So a few other drivers in the pits. Onyx Mer is remaining in the pits, as is Speed Barry and VSR Blizzard. 2 drivers I'll be expecting to be at the top of the standings. In fact, Speed Barry and Blizzard, I believe, is now just coming out of the pit lane. So we really need to see who's going to be the first driver of this leading bunch, really. Liam Yo is coming down to turn 14. Lakitu still in Sector 2. I think Rafa... There's Truesdale, I believe, is the first. Where's Liam Yo? He's second, and then it's going to be Rafa, I believe. So Truesdale then will be the first car, setting his final qualifying attempt. 2nd place at the moment. Onto the medium tyres. Pretty much everyone is on the medium tyres. We'll keep up the best, because if they don't improve and they're in the top 10, they might be stuck on those hard tyres. But quite clear that everyone is getting rid of those soft tyres, want to do medium hard here. So Truesdale then coming up to turn 4. We'll jump on board with the Toro Rosso driver, see what his exit is like. Nice and straight. Completing sector 1 now through 5, 6 and 7. He's almost 3 tenths up on his personal best. What's Rafa doing? He's 4 tenths up on his personal best. Lakitu is 5 tenths up on his personal best. How has he managed that? Oh no, he's still in sector 1, that's why. So Truesdale then, he's up on his own time, as is Rafa as well. So everyone quite clearly pushing. Obviously their best was on the hard tyres, now they're on the medium. So obviously lap times will be improved. It's going to be crucial to see just how much they can improve by. Sparks back out on circuit. Don't know if he's going to do it or not. He's really trying to get around, isn't he? So then Truesdale round turn 11 up the hill then through 12 and now 13. He needs to find, I think, just under a tenth of a second if he's going to take provisional pole. He's got a Williams ahead of him of, I believe it's Blizzard possibly, and a Toro Rosso there as well. And these guys have got to jump out the way. The Toro Rosso there of Francis McGinn getting right in front of Truesdale, trying to give him a little bit of a tow. Some of these guys are still trying to get round to start their flying lap, and Truesdale was trying to complete his. But out of the final corner now, can he improve? Can he take provisional pole? The answer is no. He's failed to improve. ILRT Rafa has taken provisional pole. Liam Yeo up into second place as well. Where's Onyx Mer in all of this? He is just starting his final lap. Lakitu then is coming down to complete his flying lap. The medium runners are now starting to get up there. It's me into third place. VSR Wayne into fourth. Lakitu, can he get up there? It's only third place for him. Truesdale, we know his session is finished. NSX Dusty coming along the line now. 9th place at the moment for the reserve driver. 2nd place on the grid. Look at that. Did not expect that at all. Fantastic lap there from NSX Dusty. Who else we got coming across? Blizzard is still in sector 2. Speed Barry is, where is he? Turn 13. Anyone else near? Aaron Collingwood looks like he's going to be coming across the line ahead of Speed Barry. So we'll see what the second Haas driver can do. One Haas reserve driver up onto the front row of the grid. Can the second one do anything about it as well? Over the line. 3rd place. Wow, Haas 2nd and 3rd. As we wait for Speed Barry, he's provisional pole. I've missed it. The lap times are tumbling on these medium tyres. Who's next are going to come across the line then? Speed Barry up onto provisional pole. Here comes VSR Blizzard. Can he do anything? It's only 9th place for Blizzard. We know Truesdale has finished. Onyx Mervin, he's the last driver I feel that can really challenge the very front of the field. Watch out for ILRT Cliffy as well. He's yet to set a lap time. He's out there on the medium tyres. So Onyx Mer at the moment all the way down in 13th place. He's seeing lap times and positions tumble and change above him. Onyx Mer only 3rd place, immediately dropped down into 4th as well. Where is Cliffy? He's retired. Sterling West looks like he's possibly backed out. No, he's still going for it. So Sterling West then in 17th place. Can he move up the order? It's only 12 for him. VSR Wayne, we know, is finished, as is It's Me as well. Rafa, his session is certainly over. So there we go then. Speed Barry, he's been nowhere in Australia and nowhere in the qualifying here. Completely upsets the order. He is a quick driver, don't get me wrong, and it's about time we see him at the front of the standings, but he's taken provisional. Well, he has taken pole position here. ILRT Rafa in 2nd place. ILRT Liam Yeo in 3rd. Onyx Mer in 4th. But hats off to both of the reserve Haas drivers. NSX Dusty and Alan Collingwood 5th and 6th. Lakitu, It's Me, VSR Wayne and ILRT Yanul complete the top 10. All drivers setting their best times on the medium tyres. So there we go then. Just to reiterate again, the top 10. We'll have a look at the race director, see if there's any instance or anything. Oh my god, exceeding track limits. Any grid penalties out there? I don't think so, to be honest. So we'll back out of that screen and have a look then. So Speed Barry then, pole position by 1900ths of a second, 200ths of a second ahead of ILRT Rafa. And it's Liam Yeo, Onyx Mer, Dusty and Aaron Collingwood, the Haas, 5th and 6th together on row 3. Lakitu, It's Me, VSR Wayne, ILRT General, all in the top 10 on those medium tyres. Outside the top 10 then, and a free choice of tyres for these guys. VSR Blizzard in 11th, Sterling West in 12th, Francis McGinn, Truesdale disappointing in 14th, Sparks, Po 18, Kornhoff, and then VSR Lambo and ILRT Cliffy failed to set lap times. I'm going to take a very short break. I'll be back with you guys during the formation lap. So then Speedberry in the Mercedes leads the field round on the formation lap with Rafa and Liam Yeo very close behind. So we'll bring up then the tyres. There we go. So of course, as per F1 rules, and I'll probably say it for every single race to be honest, in case there's any new viewers, if you qualify inside the top 10, you start the race on the set of tyres you set your best lap on. Of course, all the top 10 were on the medium tyres, so all of those have got a couple of laps worth of wear on them. We'll have to make a note of that. So outside the top 10, we've got a host of drivers starting on both the hards and the medium tyres. The medium runners, Sterling West in 12th, Sparks in 15th. Everyone else outside the top 10 starting on the hard tyres. I assume they're a brand new set of hard tyres. Speedberry then just brings the field round. ILRT Rafa in second place. He'll be hoping for another positive result. Liam Yeo as well. He'll be wanting points. Onyx Mir will be wanting to put the disappointment of Australia behind him. Oh, so close to a podium before. Late contact with Rafa it was in the end. Even though he missed the initial part of it on stream. Forced him down the order. NSX Dusty and Aaron Collingwood, two reserve drivers, 5th and 6th for Haas. Lekitu in 7th place. It's me, the leading racing point in 8th. VSR Wayne, the second Alfa Romeo, and ILRT Yanul in the leading McLaren inside the top 10 minutes. VSR Blizzard, disappointing in Australia, disappointing so far here in Bahrain. Sterling West, Francis McGinn and Truesdale, 13th and 14th together on Toro Rosso. Watch out for them as the race develops, certainly for Truesdale as well to move through the field. The rest of the drivers then coming into position now. And it would be nice if we had a different camera angle. Can we get one? I think it will hopefully change. Here we go then, round 2. Under the lights at Bahrain, 5 lights. And the lights go out and away we go now. Speedberry really getting a bit of wheel spin there. Rafa will take advantage of this down into turn 1. Watch for contact in the midfield further back. Late of the late breakers into 1, and Rafa has taken the lead in over Speedberry already down into turn 1. Onyx Mir and Liam Yeo getting very close together. Both the Haas drivers still remaining in 5th and 6th place, although It's Me's got something to say about that. Watch all the cars fanning out 2, 3, 4 wide on the run up the straight up to turn 4 as well. We've got a Ferrari and a Williams ducking and jinking around in the background as well. Everyone seems to pretty much have kept it clean. We're almost 3 wide coming through 5. That won't work as Blizzard and Yanul go into battle. Oh, and a bit of contact there between the two of them as well. And Blizzard being forced off, and there's a Ferrari backwards in the background. A Ferrari. Who's that? That's Sterling West has spun coming through turn 7, and I believe he's collected a couple of other cars as well. So Blizzard then up into 10th place. Yanul fighting up the inside through 9 and 10. This will be tricky to get this car slowed down and not cream into the car in front, with everyone circulating so closely on lap 1. Truesdale up into 12th position as well, followed by Sparks as everyone else filters through up ahead into turn 11. We'll have a look further back then. Any damage for some of these guys? Cliffy 17th, Poe 18th, and it's poor old Sterling West at the back of the field. But it's Rafa that leads them from Speedberry in 2nd. Onyx Mir up into 3rd place. Aaron Collingwood up into 4th, so one Haas driver's made progress, the other has fallen away. NSX Dusty all the way down into 8th, and as they come through turns 14 and 15, it's ILRT Rafa for Alfa Romeo that leads this race. Speedberry in 2nd place. He isn't going to... Oh, and Speedberry's left the session. Speedberry has disconnected from the session. That is good news for everyone else, and heartbreak for the Mercedes driver. Pole position, running 2nd, and he's immediately lost connection. Hopefully he can get back in quickly and reclaim his car, but he's going to be hemorrhaging positions in these early laps here as his AI car goes slower than everyone else, already down into 5th place, and that's just going to be made worse and worse with each passing corner. He has managed to rejoin, but it's going to take another 20-30 seconds for him to get back into his car. So he's going to tumble down the order. Heartbreak then for Speedberry, but he is back in. He can regain control of that car, and we might be seeing a Mercedes fight back all the way down into 9th place already. We'll filter through the rest of the field then as they're all circulating around turn 2. We've got Kornhoff ahead of VSR Lambo. Cliffy up into 16th place. Oh, Cliffy's off into the wall. He's picked up a bit of wheel spin there over that curve coming out of turn 8, and the car has snapped on him straight into that wall, immediately retiring from the session. Right front wheel is damaged severely there, and Cliffy does become our first retirement. He'll be bitterly disappointed with that. He had a poor race in Australia and he's had a worse one here in Bahrain. One of my drivers to be challenging for a title this season, and it is all going wrong so far, but it's all going right for Rafa. 1.4 seconds ahead of Onyx Mer will be music to his ears, because crossing the line now, DRS will be enabled for these drivers, and Onyx Mer is already over a second away, but he's got to be careful of Aaron Collingwood behind, who's now into third place. It's me into fourth. Liam Yeo is very close to the back of that racing point. Race control says DRS enabled. Is he going to try something into turn one? He's not. Anyone further back going to try something? Sparks 11th. That's a late move up the inside. Truesdale sees him late. Bit of a love tap on the side. No harm, no foul. And Sparks carries on. Truesdale went up into 10th place, but Sparks looking very racy early on here. Wants to stamp his authority on ILR1 and say, I may be a reserve driver, but don't count your chickens against me. I will push and try to make a name for myself. And they're side by side through 4, and he completes the move going through 5, 6 and 7. So Truesdale is not having these early laps his own way. He's lost that position to the Mercedes. Meanwhile, Speed Barry is back in his car, so the fight back now continues for our pole man all the way down in 13th place. The field is still relatively close together. The biggest gap out there really is between Rafa and Onyx Mer. There's a second between Kornhoff and Speed Barry, and poor old Sterling West in the background there in the Ferrari, still trying to close that gap. So then DRS would have been enabled then down that back straight there. It's difficult really to overtake going into turn 11 as Lakitu, I believe he was the first driver to pick up a time penalty in Australia. He's the first driver to do it here. To be honest, I'm quite surprised. Oh, there's a Red Bull spinning. That's Kornhoff. Kornhoff's lost it. He's gone into the wall as well. I don't think it's retired the car, but he's got significant damage on that front wing, and I believe the car's ghosted. Kornhoff might be throwing in the towel early on here. Another driver putting the power on too early, coming out of one of his low traction zones, spinning the car around into the inside wall. He has regained control of his car, but he's got a severely damaged front wing then, so he'll be in the pits then. Coming off of that strategy, hoping and praying for a litany of retirements or a safety car to let him catch back up. Oh, we got Lakitu and Dusty going into battle here on the run up to turn 4. Dusty would have been thank you very much with that DRS. Makes the move, sticking to 6th place. So Dusty fell down to 8th or 9th, I think it was early on. But he's showing his worth here, saying that obviously his qualifying pace was justified, moving back up into a top 6 position. You can see his teammate Aaron Collingwood just up ahead, who's keeping pace with Onyx Mer, who in turn is keeping pace with ILRT Rafa, even though he's not within that 1 second DRS window yet. He has managed to drop the gap down a couple of tenths. VSR Wayne very close to the back of that Ferrari of Lakitu as they dice over 7th and 8th place, both with DRS gaining on Dusty, but again it's difficult to make a move going into turn 11. Sparks in 10th place, looking at a World Championship point right now. He's got past Truesdale, who's not under any pressure from Truesdale either. And now he's putting the pressure on VSR Blizzard. And so VSR Blizzard, Truesdale, two very quick drivers. And they're sort of being shown away at the moment by the reserve driver in Sparks. I wouldn't be surprised if Sparks tries a bit of a cheeky move into turn 1 again. He's got a lot of confidence, this guy. Certainly not here to just make up the numbers. Good exit out the final corner as well. Very good exit out the final corner. They're all going to get DRS, but I think Sparks has got an opportunity to get alongside. Blizzard moves over to the right-hand side, immediately says, I'm protecting this inside line. If you want to pass me, you're going to have to do this around the hard way, Sunshine. Around the outside of 1. He'll have the inside for 2, but Blizzard gives him the old-fashioned squeeze to the edge of the circuit, saying, I'm not going to give up this position lightly. And Sparks is going to have a second bite of the cherry onto turn 4, but it's not going to work because here comes Truesdale up the inside. Sparks does see him late, and Truesdale, obviously seeing the Mercedes be a bit unsettled trying to get past Blizzard, has now taken full advantage of that and pushes that Mercedes driver back outside of the top 10. So nice little battles here in the midfield early on. In with a cheeky dive bomb into turn 8 there. A bit of a lock up on the front right as well, and I think we're all starting to gang up on Sparks a little bit now, and hopefully they're going to show him the way. But at the moment Sparks is hanging on to that 11th place. And behind we have Speed Barry, who's now hopefully regained his composure after that disconnection. Back in the car now. The fight back will begin, but he will find the going tough. Oh, that was late. A little bit of contact there on the back of Yanul as well. And Neil will be saying all the time you have to leave the space. Round turn 12 into 13. And that little bit of contact there with Yanul has dropped him a little bit off the back of Sparks. And they're all clear of everyone else behind. Lambo, Francis McGinn, of course, has that 5 seconds to be added onto his race time. At the moment, it changes nothing really. He will be well outside the points. Poe, very close to the back of him. Sterling West, not really catching up. Might have a little bit of damage on that car. Kornhoff, a long way back, obviously, having made a pit stop to fix that front wing. So, lap 6 of 29, up with ILRT Raff. We've got moves further back. Dusty and Lakitu still battling over 6th and 7th. Meanwhile, Speed Barry and Yanul are also dicing over 12th and 13th. What's going on with that one? I think that's come out in favour of the Mercedes driver. Meanwhile, Sparks up ahead, just ducking and weaving around. I'm very impressed with Sparks. I don't know his age. I don't know if he's 16 or 65, but he's certainly being very aggressive in these first opening laps. Very clean, but very aggressive as well. Certainly wanting to make sure people talk about him after this race as a potential driver for maybe a full-time seat. Maybe not in ILR1, but maybe in one of the other tiers as well. But he's certainly got good pace to compete in ILR1, certainly at Bahrain at least, as we come through turn 10. DRS again. He's not going to be able to do anything about Blizzard because he has DRS as well from Wayne. Sorry, from Truesdale, I should say. As the rest of the field up ahead, sort of slowly starting to find their rhythm, find little gaps here and there. It's me still within 6/10 of Aaron Collingwood, who has now dropped off the back of Onyx Mer, and the reason for that is Onyx Mer has now in the DRS range of ILRT Rafa, and this is part 2 of their battle at Australia, which Rafa won after contact with Onyx Mer, spun that Rocket Williams round into the wall, damaged the front wing. So we'll see if Onyx Mer can gain and gain and gain in turn 1. He is close, just enough for one of those Daniel Ricciardo dive bombs, but he's thinks better of it. He'll have a better chance of going up in hill into turn 4 as long as he gets a good exit, which it's average at best. I don't think Rafa will feel the need to defend this. Indeed, he doesn't. Sticks to the racing line. Puff of smoke from the right front tyre there, as well as Onyx Mer continues to pile on the pressure. Meanwhile, Dusty and Lakitu still battling over 6th and 7th place. That's brought VSR Wayne into it as well, and Truesdale only a second back, but he's bringing the train of Blizzard, Sparks and Speed Barry along as well. So we do have a few little groups of battles around there, as Dusty with a wild dive bomb up the inside into turn 8, out breaks himself, runs wide, and Lakitu retakes that position. So this could be a battle worth keeping an eye on, because Dusky does have good pace here. I think just tagging the back off the Ferrari driver. And now we're going to see the first move with this DRS zone down into turn 11. He's certainly close enough. Is he going to try? He is. Lakitu doesn't defend. Can Dusty complete this into 11? It's not an easy place to overtake. We've got VSR Wayne as well, who might be trying to force his way through, unsettling that Ferrari driver. And there we go. First move into turn 11, DRS assisted. And I think we've seen more moves into turn 11 than turn 1 at the moment. So Dusty's back up into 6th place, but he's almost 3 seconds away from Liam Yo, who's very close to the back of It's Me, who's even closer to the back of Aaron Collingwood. We'll see if this is going to be a move, but first of all, we'll see if this is going to be a move. Onyx Mer is a bit closer this time, and I think Rafa will have to defend. He does, over to the inside, and Onyx Mer just moving about a little bit into the braking zone for 1. Rafa's outbraked himself, and Onyx Mer says thank you very much. Through he goes on the outside of turn 2, and the Williams takes the lead. Further back, It's Me has moved up into 3rd place ahead of Aaron Collingwood, and NSX Dusty retakes Lakitu for that 6th place. So Onyx Mer then becomes our second race leader. He closed that gap to Rafa over the last few laps. It was 1.3 at one point, all the way down to nothing. He's now taking the lead around the outside of turn 2 because Rafa outbraked himself just a little bit too much in turn 1. And now we'll see if the Williams driver of Onyx Mer can do anything about this race. We've got yellow flag on sector 2. It's Dusty's off the circuit. Something's happened to the Haas driver. He has rejoined. Has he got any damage on that front wing? Hard to tell. So I can only assume Dusty's had contact with Lakitu, because those two have pretty much been stuck together since the opening part of this race. The front wing looks fine, and he's certainly back up to speed now behind this little train that's being formed by Francis McGinn. But Dusty then all the way down into 16th place. Probably be like a red rag to a bull at the moment, as he'll try and fight his way back through the field. So lap 8 then, the race, I don't think it's going to start settling down anytime soon, but it's a good opportunity to look at the position changes then. So obviously NSX Dusty's the biggest loser now, losing 11 positions. Speed Barry is slowly starting to fight back, but pole position down to 10 through no fault of his own. He disconnected and rejoined. He's lost 9 positions. Sterling West has lost 5. Liam Yeo has lost a position. ILRT Yenil has lost 2. Biggest winners then, by the looks of it, it's Truesdale up 6 positions from 14th into 8th. And we've also got It's Me moving up from 8th into 3rd as VSR Wayne and Likitu now go into battle. And who is going to win out of this one? Looks like the Alfa Romeo driver for now. So Onyx Mer still leads, 5 tenths ahead of ILRT Rafa. It's Me now up into a podium spot. That 3rd place seems to chop and change of each passing lap. And VSR Wayne was a bit out of shape. They're coming through 5, 6 and 7. And I thought Likitu might try something. There's a whole train lane of cars. Look at that, 6, 7 cars I think it is. Now tucked up behind VSR Wayne, who's 4 seconds away from Aaron Collingwood. Oh, was there a little bit of a touch there between Truesdale and Likitu? Certainly looked like it. We'll jump on board of a Toro Rosso driver. Everyone getting DRS, so I don't think there's going to be any overtakes going into turn 11. It'll all be about moves into turn 1 and turn 4. So VSR Wayne needs to make these next couple of corners as smooth as you like, as everyone dances over the curb on the exit of 12. And VSR Wayne wants to be at a DRS. I don't think he'll be at a DRS range from Likitu, but he might be just far enough ahead that Likitu won't have an opportunity to get past. But as you can see, the Truesdale and VSR Blizzard are very close to each other as well. Just a couple of attempts in it. So completing lap 9 into lap 10. And Likitu into the pits then. The first drive up, coming off of those medium tyres onto the hard tyres. I assume he is indeed. No front wing changer, he's fine. So Likitu will try to get an undercut here on VSR Wayne. Maybe close up a little bit to Aaron Collingwood if he can. No signs of anyone else making pit stops just yet, but that is in. The pit stop window is now open, if you like. They'd have all seen, or certainly the cars in the midfield have seen Likitu pit, knowing he's going to go onto the hard tyres. And that might start a flurry of activity for some of the medium runners. And Mercedes and ILRT Yenil will certainly be drivers thinking about it. VSR Wayne as well, he won't want to lose positions to anyone behind him. And Onyx Mert and ILRT Rafa certainly in a class of their own at the moment. It's Me in 3rd place, 2.5 seconds back. Has now got the attentions of Liam Yeo and Aaron Collingwood, 3rd, 4th and 5th together. And then 4 seconds back we find this train of cars behind VSR Wayne. Truesdale in 7th, Blizzard in 8th, both the Mercedes 9th and 10th. So does any of the medium runners pit at the end of this lap? Onyx Mer down to turn 14 and then 15. Turn 15 isn't really a corner. They're in it now. It's more accelerating zone if anything. And Onyx Mer, oh, that was cheeky. Trying to sell Rafa the dummy didn't work. It's Me doesn't pit. Liam Yeo is coming into the pits. VSR Wayne is coming in. Truesdale was just trying to get a bit of a toe there. So some of the medium runners are now in. Liam Yeo pitting. VSR Wayne, Speed Barry also into the pits as well. Will anyone further back decide to pit? NSX Dusty coming in. I'm not surprised by that. He's had a spin. So does Speed Barry get the jump on either Liam Yeo or VSR Wayne? I don't think so. I think they're both out ahead. They are indeed. Liam Yeo already out of the pit lane. VSR Wayne. So where's Likitu and all this? We already know he's made a pit stop. Likitu there coming down. He'll get past Speed Barry. He'll see VSR Wayne ahead of him. He knew he was just behind him on track. This is a crucial opportunity for Likitu to try and get the position back from VSR Wayne, because Wayne's tyres won't be up to optimal temperature yet. Likitu's had a lap to push. Even with the DRS, so he's not going to be close enough, and Wayne will hold on to that position. Liam Yeo then 5 seconds up the road. He was in a different battle. He'll want to keep it clean as he, well, he's 10 seconds back from these guys, so he won't catch him anytime soon. A little bit of lag there from, I think it was Francis McGee. So you're all in 8th place, just under a second away from Sparks. And then the 2 hard runners, Truesdale and Blizzard, both started outside the top 10, now find themselves in 5th and 6th. And in the next couple of laps, will find themselves in 1st and 2nd. So out of the final corner again for the 11th time. Does Onyx Mer decide to pit again or try to sell a W for a second time? Nope, this time they both do pit. Do either of them speed? Onyx Mer very slow into the pit lane there. Rafa gained a whole bunch of time. It's Me and Aaron Collingwood also in as well. So Truesdale will take the lead of this race. Blizzard into 2nd place. Sparks and Yenil also in. So all of the medium runners that were out on the circuit still now all in for the hard tyres. So it's going to be a bit of an upside down order at the moment. We want to keep an eye on really ILRT Liam Yeo to see if he can get close to Rafa and Onyx Mer, and then also VSR Wayne to see if he can get close to some of the other cars ahead. Here comes Onyx Mer just out the pits, and Liam Yeo has closed right up on these two. Look at that. Meanwhile, VSR Wayne is jumping up the order as well as the key two. It's me in Aaron Collingwood still out ahead, so VSR Wayne and the key two haven't made the progress they wanted, but ILRT Liam Yeo certainly has. He might be trying to move into turn 4, but he's just a bit too far back. Puff of smoke from that right front as well as he locks it up. Last thing he wants to do now, having seen he's gained a considerable amount of time over both Onyx Mer and Rafa in that pit stop window, to throw it all away with a silly mistake. So the top 5 then started the race on the hard tyres and will be going as long as possible. Maybe they can go long enough to put on the softs, but I reckon it's going to be around about, I think, laps 16 to 18 when they'll pit for a set of mediums. So ILRT Rafa is your net leader, Onyx Mer is your net second place, and ILRT Liam Yeo, who are on board if now, is your net third position. But it could all change when the top 5 pit, coming out on a fresher set of probably medium tyres against the used set of hard tyres that these guys are currently running. So the positions may very well chop and change. There's been a few time penalties that have come up in the last few laps as well. To be honest, haven't really paid attention to them, so I'm not too sure who has what. Anyone in the chat, if you think anyone out there has actually got any penalties and you know for certain, why not put it in there just to refresh my memory. I'm spending too much time looking at the delta times on the left hand side to see who has what penalties. So ILRT Liam Yeo then coming around to complete lap 13 into 14, has the DRS. He's not really gaining on Onyx Mer ahead. He is at the very end of the straight as Speed Barry sets a new fastest lap at 1:39.042 or 8:42, not too sure. But he sets the fastest lap anyway. Of course, fastest lap, if you do set the fastest lap and keep it and finish inside the top 10, an extra World Championship point is yours. I've seen titles won by a single championship point, so it's sometimes important to get that fastest lap. We'll just have to see how that plays out and see if that changes anything by season's end. Still a long way to go until Abu Dhabi. Still very early stages here, round 2 at Bahrain. Lap 13 of 29. Those that started on the medium tyres have now been in for the hards, and we wait to see when those started on the hards pit for the medium tyres. So down the main straight, once again, almost half distance now. Onyx Mer and ILRT Liam Yeo seem to be strong and weak compared to each other at various points of the circuit. And Liam Yeo doesn't really catch until the very end of that main straight with the DRS. And in the chat, Ali Reza, sorry if I butcher your name, my friend. Blizzard has a penalty apparently, as NSX Dusty sets a new fastest lap at 1:35.79 on those hard tyres. So we'll move away from Onyx Mer and Liam Yeo for now in their little battle for second and third, which will be a net second and third. Up to Po 18 then, in 5th place at the moment, yet to make a pit stop off of those hard tyres. Big lock up from Francis McGee, I believe it was, ahead on that front left. And VSR Lambo just moving over the circuit a little bit, trying to break the toe, maybe get a bit of extra clean air. He's currently running in 3rd place, but a long way back from these two. Truesdale and VSR Blizzard, 1st and 2nd. Truesdale, very quick, very competitive, picked up a 3rd place finish at Australia. VSR Blizzard, meanwhile, had a litany of penalties in Australia and was lucky to finish where he did. But he'll be hoping for more. A defending ILR1 champion as well. Season 5 was greatly reduced by the fact that it was all a shock and a surprise that F1 2019 came out as early as it did. So it's just an 11 round season rather than 21. He won 9 of the 11 rounds. The 2 he didn't win, he failed to finish. And Aaron Collingwood has left the session. So has something happened there, or is he just disconnected? That's a shame for the Haas driver. Hopefully he can get back in, because it's going to be the same scenario that befell poor old Speed Barry in the opening laps, where his AI car will now tumble down the order. You can see there VSR Wayne massively closing up in the braking zone, already getting past into 1. So hopefully Aaron can get back into the session, because he looks odds on. He does indeed, just as I say that, because he was odds on for scoring some points here. So a few people are suffering with connection issues. Hopefully nothing else happens. And Sterling West has retired from the session. So has he crashed, or has he put it into the wall? We'll jump on board with Kornhoff just to see what happens, as he really struggles with that red ball. I can only assume that Sterling West has pulled into the pit lane. If Kornhoff takes that position in the next couple of seconds, yes, Sterling West then had enough of the session for whatever reason. Maybe he had a crash and damaged his front wing, but Sterling West then becomes our second official retirement, as we wait for Aaron Collingwood to get back into his car, which I believe he has done now. Meanwhile, up ahead, they're all ducking and weaving around the circuit. We've got yellow flags in Sector 1. Who's that for? It'll be one of these guys down here, I feel. Was it further back? Can't tell. It'll be Sterling West's. I saw a Ferrari in the background, so that'll be Sterling West's AI car just coming back out of the pits, moving over to a safe place to stop. So, lap 16 of 29 into the second half of this race. We now wait to see when Truesdale and Co will pit. We'll have a look at those hard tyres on the front. Bit of graining there. You can see a discoloration on the inside and outside of that wall. Same for Blizzard as well. Lambo, Francis and Poe as well. All five of them obviously struggling just a little bit, I feel, at the moment on the hard tyres. And Rafa and Onyx Mer are slowly closing that gap. And Liam Yo is staying with them then. So ILRT Liam Yo in contention here for a podium spot. Possibly in contention for second or even the race win, because the net top three here separated by just a second, and we still have 13-14 laps left to go. So Truesdale at the moment, we'll have a look at the gap to the leader. So Rafa is 15 seconds behind Truesdale. So obviously all this group here, these three cars, will jump ahead of Truesdale and Blizzard. I'm just wondering if by the time these guys that do pit off with the hard tyres go on to, I would assume, the mediums in a lap or two, if they're within a handful of seconds, then Truesdale and Blizzard have certainly got an opportunity to catch these guys and potentially challenge as well. Blizzard, for whatever reason, has dropped off the pace. I can assume he's made a mistake, because Truesdale is almost 3 seconds up the road and there was less than a second between them just a couple of laps ago. So does Truesdale pull over to the right to pit? He does at the end of lap 16. Blizzard copies him as well. Lambo is a few seconds back, but we'll probably see. Oh, and Blizzard sped into the pit lane. That is a 5-second penalty. We'll stay on board with Blizzard. Does he serve it in this pit stop, or is it going to be added on to his race time? We'll have a look. Do the car? Do they work straight away then? So Blizzard will have 5 seconds added onto his time, as well as whatever penalties he's got. Back out on the medium tyres, as well as Truesdale, and they do start to tumble down the order. So Onyx Mer up into 4th, Rafa 5th, It's Me 6th, Truesdale back out the pits end just ahead of VSR Wayne. But I don't think Wayne will be able to do anything about that Toro Rosso. And Dusty then picks up a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane and immediately retires from the session. So I think Dusty's had another off somewhere, because he's only completed 6 laps on those hard tyres. And he's come in to obviously fix some damage and change another set of tyres. Sped into the pit lane and went, that's it, I've had enough. I'm throwing in the towel, and he leaves the session as well. So 3 drivers now out of the 19 that started. Poor old Kornhoff so far away. He's hoping and praying for a safety car here just to close up the field. So VSR Lambo is our new race leader. Francis McGee in second, Poe 18 in third. Then we come back to these guys, Onyx Mer, Rafa and Liam Yo, 4th, 5th and 6th, which is a net 1st, 2nd, 3rd. Truesdale is away from Liam Yo about 5.5 seconds, maybe just a little bit less, and we know that Truesdale will be frighteningly quick now on these medium tyres. Blizzard sort of out of contention, I think, now a little bit with speeding into the pit lane. I don't think he's served it. I think he's just being unlucky that Truesdale stayed ahead of Wayne, Barry and Lakita, and Blizzard unfortunately couldn't, because there was a couple of seconds between them. And the other 3 guys that started on the hard tyres, Lambo, Francis McGee and Poe, now all in the pits. Should be a simple switch onto the medium tyres. I don't think anyone will be bold and brave and go for the softs. Indeed they don't, they're all on the medium tyres. So the race what's the word I'm looking for? The race situation, there we go, changes again. We've now got guys at the front on new set of hard tyres. We've got guys further down the order on brand new sets of mediums. Lambo, Francis McGee and Poe 18 won't be able to do anything about the higher placings. They might score a point or two. Blizzard, I think, might have an outside chance of looking at a top 5, but Truesdale certainly getting the hammer down now. He's closed that gap up to It's Me. So he wants to get past the racing point as soon as possible, and then slowly start to close up on this trio battling for the lead. Because if Onyx Mir, Rafa and Liam Yo really start duking it out, I should say, then Truesdale will start to eat into their lap. Blizzard then starts to move up through the field past Lakitu, probably up the inside into 9 and 10, and meanwhile Truesdale up the inside into 11. He should make that move stick. He does, just cutting across the bow there of the racing point. So Truesdale 4.6 seconds behind ILRT Liam Yo, who in turn is getting DRS from Rafa, who in turn is getting DRS from Onyx Mercury. Ideally, for entertainment purposes, we need these three to start really battling, not making contact and damaging the cars, but really battling. And we'll see that gap between Truesdale and Liam Yo start to tumble down the order. Rafa sets a new fastest lap, 1 minute 30.405, immediately eclipsed by 0.6 of a second by Truesdale on those medium tyres. So 4.6 was the gap. Should be below 4 seconds by the time they finish, as Speedberry and VSR Wayne go into battle for 6th and 7th. Meanwhile, Aaron Collingwood and Sparks, two of the reserve drivers, fighting out, tussling out, duking it out for that final championship point. Can Sparks get back at Aaron Collingwood coming to turn 4? Aaron Collingwood really forcing him even over the white line as well, but Sparks is having none of it, sticks it in there, keeps it on the inside. Aaron will try and hold it around the outside, then going through 5, 6 and 7. He'll have the inside, outside, and then inside again. Contact between them, and Sparks is being spun round. I think Aaron just gave him the squeeze just a bit too much. Sparks had nowhere to go. Contact with the side of the Haas car, and that spun poor old Sparks down into P14. He's recovering. Oh, and he's picked up a 10-second time penalty for that. That's unfair. I think that's unfair. He was doing everything he could to rejoin the track safely. He's lost a handful of time and positions, and now picked up a 10-second time penalty. That's a bit wrong from the game. That unfortunately we can't really program the game to do penalties or not. I'm sure if Sparks put in a report about that, he would be removed, because in my eyes he was safely and slowly trying to rejoin the circuit, and that 10-second penalty is a bit unfair. So DNFing coming into a chat saying Onyx in the lead. Dan, yep, you better believe it. 7move54, True is on mediums, mate. I am aware, if that was aimed at me. And CPI Lewis saying True will have bad tyres at the end. Yeah, possibly, if he's certainly pushing. It's not a risk going on to the medium tyres. They sort of had to. It was a risk going on to the sauce. But he's only closed up 3 tenths in that last lap, as Rafa now starts to close up yet again on the back of Onyx Mer. This battle for the lead certainly isn't over. And Truesdale and Sparks has retired from the race. So he's obviously pulled into the pits and called it quits. That's a shame. That's 2 of our 3 reserve drivers out of the race. The third and final one, Aaron, hanging on bravely to that final point. He'll be disappointed though. He qualified inside the top 6. Currently down in 10th place as Francis McGee and Lambo duke it out for 12th and 13th. Poor race by McLaren standard. Both drivers still running. Neither of them inside the top 10. So this will be a race for them to both, I think, go away after it's all done and wonder what went wrong for them. We've got yellow flags in Sector 3 and in Sector 1 as well. I think that's Sparks' car, just the AI car, just rejoining the circuit before it pulls over and disappears from our view. 20 or 29 then. Still, well, 9-10 laps left to go, including the one they're on at the moment. Rafa and Liam Yo keeping Onyx Mer very honest. Truesdale is now starting to catch. 3.6 seconds, so that's about 6 tenths already on this lap. And I think it's because he's now left It's Me behind. He can now focus on what's going on ahead rather than what's going on behind. So is there going to be any moves coming into turn 1? Rafa's too far back. Liam Yo is too far back as well. Truesdale then is now brought to get down to 3.9. Meanwhile in the background, Speed Barry just moving around there along the start finish line, trying to break the toe from Blizzard behind, and he's bringing VSR Wayne along with it as well. So Blizzard obviously quite faster than Barry at the moment, being on those fresher medium tyres, but they will wear out at a quicker rate. And only time will tell to see if anything can change. Rafa very close there to the back of Onyx Mer. And as I move away from that battle with Blizzard and Speed Barry, Blizzard pops it up the inside to turn 4, says thank you very much, P6 will be mine. He will now be on his merry way, but he does have a litany of penalties to be added onto his race time for speeding in the pit lane and other infractions on the circuit. So VSR Blizzard 6th place, certainly not safe at the moment. As Truesdale continues to slowly claw in that gap. Liam Yo and Rafa again getting close and close and close down into turn 11. 21 of 29. Similar situation to what we saw in Australia. Instead of a top 4 this time, it's just a top 3. And instead of Louis in that battle, it's now ILRT Liam Yeo in the Red Bull. So we're seeing different people challenging for podiums and wins, which is what we want in ILR1. We want it to be super hyper competitive. We don't want 2 or 3 drivers absolutely running away with it, but Onyx Mer and RRT Rafa and Truesdale as well, certainly the standout performers so far in the first couple of races. Truesdale, there he is in the background. So Rafa then now has the DRS, and Onyx Mer immediately feels the need to start slowly moving around. Neither of them close enough to try and move into turn 1. Meanwhile, further back, Blizzard is going to be defending from Speed Barry, I feel, coming down into turn 1. It's a good little battle between these 2 very quick drivers for 6th and 7th. VSR Wayne in 8th, just looking on as well. Lakitu in 9th, Aaron Collingwood in 10th. Just 8 laps to go, including the one the leaders are on right now. So Lakitu picks up a 3-second time penalty as we come down to complete lap 22 of 29. A couple of people in the chat there just saying that it was who was it for? Sparks' fault for the contact of Aaron Collingwood. A few other people saying, well, to be honest, you can get 2 cars side by side through there. Yeah, to me it looks like Aaron's gave him a little bit of a squeeze. They were pretty much side by side, neck and neck. And he could have backed out a little bit, but then again Sparks could have probably backed out as well and tried another move at a later point in the lap. But as it is, Sparks has retired from the session. Aaron carries on in 10th place. These top 3 separated by less than a second, and Truesdale is catching, but not at a quicker rate of knots than I would have expected. He's left It's Me alone behind, almost 3 seconds back now, as Rafa takes more of an inside line there into turn 8. I don't think he was defending from Liam Yeo. I think he just, for whatever reason, prefers that more of a tighter, acute line. Now down into 9 and 10. And Onyx has pulled out a couple of attempts so far this lap, but that will all disappear. Meanwhile, Aaron Collingwood and Lakitu are battling. This is on the run down to 9 and 10. So probably a move up the inside into 8. Puts the Haas driver up into 9th place. Lakitu down into 10th. We have a few drivers quite close together. Francis McGee in 12th, bravely holding off VSR Lambo and Poe 18 in 13th and 14th. Kornhoff, as I mentioned, a long way back. Back to the leaders then, lap 23 or 29, getting to the critical stage now, just a handful of laps to go. Truesdale continues to methodically bring that gap down, but it's only a few attempts each lap, and he's going to be running out of tyre life and laps if he's going to try and catch and pass any of these guys to get himself up into the podium. Onyx Mer doing everything right at the moment, resisting an amazing amount of pressure from both ILRT Rafa and Liam Yeo. Liam Yeo, I think, is not really planning on an attack on Rafa just yet. He wants to see what this battle between Rafa and Onyx Mer, and see if it resolves itself with his contact between the 2 of them. And in the background there's Truesdale in 4th, slowly catching, but not a lot is going on at the moment for that Toro Rosso driver. Further back, It's Me, pretty much okay in 5th for now, just a second ahead of Blizzard. He's still got Speed Barry and VSR Wayne in close formation, and Aaron Collingwood and Lakitu continue their little battle for 9th and 10th. So we've got a battle for the first 3, which could be the first 4 if Truesdale gets to hurry up on. I mean, It's Me sort of safe, I think, in 5th at the moment, unless he makes a big mistake. And we've got another battle for 6th, 7th, 8th between Blizzard, Speed, Barry and VSR Wayne. So this race certainly isn't over. There are penalties out there. Obviously, we know that Blizzard has got a few. We've got Francis McGee down in 13th, who's got a time penalty to be added onto his race time for an incident in Australia, but he's not in the points, so it won't change anything. Onyx Mer, Rafa and Liam Yeo, don't think I've seen anything from either of those 3. And there was Truesdale again. He seems to be quite quick in sector 2. That's where he seems to be making up most of his time. About 3 or 4 attempts. As Lakitu and Aaron Collingwood again go into battle. These 2 are really fighting hard. Oh, bit of contact there between the 2 of them. And Lakitu completes the move, actually. Looked like he was a bit off circuit doing that, but nevertheless, the Ferrari driver back up into 9th place. Meanwhile, at the front, Rafa very close there to the back of Onyx Mer, again deciding against the move going into turn 1. Barry is very close to the back of Blizzard, but I think 6th place is remaining for the Rocket Williams car at the moment. Just look up there at the front from one of those two, Aaron Collingwood and Lakitu again. But I might as well just stay with these two, because these two seem to be putting on, you know, a bit of an overtaking masterclass against each other at the moment. I fancy Lakitu up the inside here into turn 4. It'll be a late move, no dancing and weaving around and the braking, but decides against it. Both evenly matched, it seems, on pace and pretty much on tyre life as well. Aaron's tyres just 2 laps fresher. But Lakitu certainly getting the hurry up onto that Haas driver. And Alex Mer and Rafa have changed positions. What's happened here? Has something happened on the exit of 9 and 10? Not too sure. Onyx Mer has got the inside and Rafa has taken the lead of this race. Damn it, I've missed it. I thought I would if I moved away from him. So Rafa has retaken the lead of this race then, and that has brought Truesdale into it a bit more. He's taken 7/10 of them out of this lap. So the battling between them has allowed Truesdale to slowly catch up. We'll jump on board with the Toro Rosso driver as we come in to start lap 26 of 29. Not long to go now. So Onyx Mer put up a relentless amount of pressure from the Alfa Romeo driver. I don't know if he made a mistake or if Rafa just got a very, very good exit out of 10. Used the DRS to get past, because when we came back, Onyx Mer was on the inside going into 11. So I think Onyx Mer probably just ran wide through 10. As it stands at the moment, ILRT Rafa has taken the lead of this race, and Onyx Mer picks up a 3-second time penalty for exceeding too many track limits. That's late on their brakes, right up behind the Alfa Romeo Salva. And Onyx Mer will now know, obviously, he has penalties. It would have popped up for himself to see. Meanwhile, what's going on with 9th, 10th and 11th? It's all kicking off back here. We've got the yellow flag. Who has done what in sector 1? It's Lakitu. Where's Lakitu? He's off the circuit. So I think Lakitu's made contact with someone or lost it all by himself, tumbling all the way down to P14. His chances of points are pretty much gone. Meanwhile, the McLarens, well, one of them is now in the points in 9th place. The other one just outside in 11th. What's going on further ahead? We'll leave this battle for now. We've got Wayne, Speed, Barry, Blizzard, and now it's me. We've got yellow flag in sector 2. Who's that for? Is it Lakitu again? Lakitu's going very slowly. He's got damage on that front right, that's for sure. Lakitu going very slowly, so his race is pretty much done at this point. As they come out the final corner to start lap 27 and 29. Yeah, if Rafa pits, I would have been amazed. He's just trying to break the toe. Here comes Onyx Mer. Onyx seems very quick in a straight line. Quick. He's gaining. Ran to the outside. This is a battle for the lead. 3 laps to go. Can Onyx Mer hold around the outside? He'll have the inside for 2. Switch over the front of that car. He's going to be very careful because Rafa is still there. We'll jump on board with Liam Yo. This is going to give us the best position looking at these two side by side in the braking zone for turn 4. This is the battle for the lead of the race, which is 3 to go, and Rafa again defending the inside. Onyx will have the inside for 5, but Rafa will have it for 6, but Onyx get a better exit through 6. He's got the inside for 7 and retakes the lead of the race. Can Rafa try something into 8 quickly to get back at him? He can't, and that's brought Liam Yo and now Truesdale into it. So now is really a battle for the top 4. Onyx Mer retaking that position. Lakitu's race goes from bad to worse, pitting and picking up a penalty. So Onyx Mer then retakes the lead of the race. Oh, contact! I think there's contact between Liam Yo and Rafa. Indeed there is, and Truesdale says thank you very much and screams past into second place. Liam Yo backed up as well to just allow Rafa back through. I think it was just a bit of a side-by-side contact there between the two of them. It almost ended in a heavy crash on the exit of 10. So the order has completely changed in the top 4. Onyx Mer then coming round to start the penultimate lap has a 1.2 second lead over Truesdale, who's got Rafa now with the red rag to the ball, wanting to get back to Onyx Mer, but he's got to get past the Toro Rosso of Truesdale. Meanwhile, Aaron Collingwood is losing positions. He's spun. Aaron Collingwood has spun and immediately retired from the session. A race that promised so much for the Haas drivers has ended in a double DNF. Meanwhile, ILRT Rafa right up, tagging the back of Truesdale there. Rafa's very good on these brakes, and Onyx Mer is going to be one happy Williams driver because he can hopefully disappear into the distance. 1.1 ahead of Truesdale. He's outside of that DRS range is the German for Toro Rosso, and he's got all eyes focused now on Rafa and Liam Yeo behind. The top order. The top four has changed dramatically in the last couple of laps. This is now Onick Meur's race to lose. He had an outside chance of winning the race in Australia before contact with Rafa saw him in the wall, tumbling down the order. But hopefully he'll put the demons of Melbourne away to pick up the race win here at Sakhir in Bahrain under the lights. But he's still got a lap and a bit to go. Truesdale will not give up. He's in DRS range. He has the DRS as well. Rafa and Liam Yeo are falling back a little bit. So I think Truesdale is the only driver inside that top four that can really challenge Onyx for the race win here. What is going to happen as they come into the final lap? Penalties, remember, try and remember penalties. Onyx Mert, I'm pretty sure, has at least a 3-second penalty. Truesdale, I don't know. Rafa and Liam Yeo, I'm pretty sure neither of them have penalties. So again, the order could chop and change as they cross the line. Here we go then into the final lap. Truesdale half a second back, gaining all the time. A new fastest lap, even though he was picking up the dirty air. He's going to try into turn one, ducking out of the slipstream, making that Toro Rosso loom large in that Williams mirrors, but applying all the pressure he can, trying to force Onyx Mer into a mistake. Meanwhile, It's Me and Blizzard battling over 5th and 6th will momentarily put away to see what this is going on. There's a handful of cars in battle there. Speed Barry, VSR Wayne involved as well. Oh, they're almost 3 wide then. I think they are 3 wide coming up into turn 4. Look at this. It's Me, then meeting that sandwich. One of them's got to back out, and Barry up into 6th place. It's Me. Oh, cutback. Brilliant cutback from the Racing Point driver. Retakes that 6th position, but we have to move away. We have to come back to the leaders because Rafa has closed that gap back up to Truesdale, who's right underneath that rear wing of that Williams car now. Lap 29 of 29. This is the final lap. I think Truesdale might have one more opportunity. It'll be a do or die attempt into the final corner, but he's going to need an almighty great exit through turn 13. He's going to pick up the dirty air, and that draggy wash on the front of his car will not be helping him through, but he's sticking to that Williams. He's sticking as much as he can. Onyx Mer, I'm pretty sure, has penalties, so I don't think he's going to win this race, but I think Truesdale wants to do it if he can on track. He's not close enough coming down to the final corner, so Onyx Mer will exit the final corner. He'll take the race win on track, but I don't think he will keep it. But it's been a fantastic drive by the Williams driver nevertheless. Over the line to complete the race. Indeed, Onyx Mer has penalties. Truesdale picks up his first win. Rafa and Liam Yeo complete the podium. Onyx Mer down to 4th. Blizzard, we know, has penalties. Unserved stop goes. It's Me up into 5th. VSR Wayne 6th. Speed Barry 7th. VSR Blizzard will pick up 8th. Meanwhile, in the background, Francis McGee and Lambo are fighting over 10th place. Oh, they're making contact coming up to the line. Who takes the final point? It is VSR Lambo, but it wouldn't have mattered anyway. Francis McGee has time penalties to be added on. And even with his penalties as well, Par 18 moves up into 11th place. Francis McGee down into 12th. Kornhoff finished the race a lap down, and we await Lakitu. His race tumbled away in the last few laps to come home in 13th. But congratulations to Truesdale. He made those medium tyres work. He closed up mainly due to Rafa, Liam Yeo and Onyx Mer battling, but he closed up. He made the move stick when Rafa and Liam Yeo had a bit of contact and managed to stick close enough to Onyx Mer, who had time penalties, as you can see. And it's Truesdale for Toro Rosso that picks up his first win of the season. Rafa and Liam Yeo for ILRT. Alfa Romeo in 2nd. Red Bull in 3rd as Lakitu finally crosses the line. So congratulations there to Truesdale for the Scuderia Toro Rosso team, Rafa for Alfa Romeo and Liam Yeo for the Aston Martin Red Bull Racing team. All 3 cars there at the bottom of Parc Fermé, and the champagne, or the rosewater as it is at Bahrain. No champagne here, it's rosewater, which takes a bit of fun out of it, to be honest with you, but we respect the rules and laws of Bahrain. But happy spraying by all 3 of the top drivers there. I think all 3 of them will be relatively happy with the overall performance, although definitely Rafa will be disappointed to not take down that race win, but not so much as disappointing as Onyx Mer crossed the line in 1st, and he's being pushed down to 4th place, and for some unknown reason I've picked up rewards for spectating, but nevertheless So Truesdale picks up the race win from 14th on the grid, and I believe he set the fastest lap as well at the very end. ILRT Rafa for Alfa Romeo and ILRT Liam Yeo complete the podium. Do stick around, we'll get them all in for a few questions very, very shortly. Onyx Merven with that single 3-second penalty demotes him from first all the way to fourth. It's me, fifth for Racing Point. VSR Wayne in sixth, good points for Alfa Romeo. Speed Barry in the lead, Mercedes in seventh, VSR Blizzard in eighth for Williams. And then McLarens of ILRT ENL and VSR Lambo both score points. Outside then, PO18, Francis McGee, Lekitu and Kornhoff was a lap down, and we lost at various stages Aaron Collingwood, Sparks, NSX Dusty, Sterling West, and very early on ILRT Cliffy. I'm going to go silent now as I disappear into the party to invite all three, so if you want to hear their thoughts, then do stick around and I'll be back with you guys as quickly as they join. So all three drivers have now joined me for the podium interviews. Guys, if you can just take a couple of seconds to double check your party settings, make sure obviously your microphone is connected and if you allowed your voice to be shared on stream. Please do keep your microphone muted until it is your turn to answer some questions. I'll give you guys a few seconds just to double check your settings before we begin. So Truesdale, we'll come to you first of all. A podium in the first race at Australia after Onyx Mer fell off the road, and you picked up the race win here after Onyx Mer had a 3-second time penalty. But I'm probably right in thinking that the only reason you really caught them at the very end there was because of the intense battling with the top three, and it must have been a huge smile on your face when you saw both Liam Yeo and Rafa make contact on the exit of 10 and you just sailed by into second place. Just explain the last couple of laps for you and how hard it was to catch those guys and keep focused as you were battling for that race win. Yeah, almost like flashbacks to round one at Australia. We had a top 3 and 4 in that particular race, really duking it out for the second half of that race. But we'll move away from the race and talk about your qualifying. A very, very lowly 14th place, which surprised me because, you know, you're a lot quicker than that. You've already clearly shown that. I assume there was a couple of mistakes and a couple of invalidations on your qualifying laps. Just tell us how frustrating it was to start that far down, because when you're in that sort of, I like to call P9 to P16, you really are in the danger zone for getting tagged or picking up damage in the early laps. So it must have been very frustrating to be starting that lap, that low down in qualifying. Yeah, so just talking about the race strategy, then obviously it was quite clear in qualifying. People are going out there and setting, laps on the softs and then laps on the hard tyres as well. And then obviously all going for the mediums towards the end. The mediums onto hards or hards onto mediums was clearly the right strategy to go for. Had you done much practice coming into this event in the last week as well, perfecting your setup, tyre strategy, maybe trying to find different lines around certain corners to try and improve your lap time? Or is it a circuit that you've already had quite a lot of experience on in this game and it was a case of just turn up on the night and do the best job you can? Yeah, and finally moving away, then obviously now, two very, very strong results. Obviously looking ahead as well to China as well. Is it a track you're possibly looking forward towards, or is it another circuit where you're going to have to go away, do a lot of practice on and try to better yourself, or is it a circuit that you feel very comfortable already and you're just hoping to continue the very, very good progress you've done already in the first two races? Well, a very, very strong start from yourself and the team as well in the first opening couple of rounds. We knew there was a few words out there murmuring saying obviously you're a very, very quick driver anyway, and you're currently proving it right now with the race win tonight. Gifted to you a little bit because Onyx Mur's 3-second time penalty, but all in all, a very, very strong performance. So congratulations on the race win, and thank you for joining me for the interviews. Thank you. That then takes us on to our second place driver for Alfa Romeo Sauber team, ILRT Rafa. Another podium, second place here at Bahrain as well. Again, it must be very frustrating to not take down the race win. And just talk to us about the incident there with Liam Yeo with just a couple of laps to go on the exit of turn 10. That must have been incredibly frustrating to make contact and then to see Truesdale fly by into second.
Yeah, it was for sure. I made a mistake going into the double left. I locked my left rear and my left front and just pretty much went straight on. And when I started accelerating out of the corner, I lost my rear a little bit. So it's pretty much my mistake, to be fair. Like, I ruined that for myself. I think Liam didn't do anything wrong. I just lost my rear and then went into him kind of, which half spun me and lost me the place to Truesdale, which was really unfortunate.
Obviously, the several laps leading up to that little incident there towards the end, you and Onyx traded places a couple of times. You seemed very evenly matched on pace. Obviously, it was a very good battle to watch. I assume it was a very good battle for you as well. But you two seemed very, very close on pace. You were pretty much neck and neck throughout a majority of Australia. And obviously, that contact that I did miss on stream, but you both said after the race that that's what happened. And again, very, very close here as well. 2 races down, 19 to go. Are you starting to get a bit of a feel for the drivers around you, who's quite competitive, who's not so much, who's very evenly matched on you? Because it seems like you and Onyx, there's literally nothing separating you two after the first 2 races.
Yeah, it seems like it. I think when we're racing each other in different leagues as well, we're always pretty close together. So I wasn't expecting anything else from him, to be honest. He's a really, really quick driver, really ambitious as well. He's always got the pace, but I think there will be tracks maybe where we will be a little bit more separated. Like, I have some weaker tracks, obviously. I think he has some as well. So it's gonna be really interesting to see how the season goes on, and if it continues to be like this.
So looking ahead to round 3 at China, of course it could be unpredictable weather there as well. But second place in Australia, second place here tonight. Are you going to make the final leap and take the win in China, or is it a track you're particularly not looking forward to?
It's a track I'm not really looking forward to. I'm always a little bit struggling there, I would say. But yeah, I'm gonna practice for it a lot and just give it my absolute best as always to try and get the win if I can.
Well, I'm sure you'll keep giving your absolute best throughout this season, and I do believe you may have... No, you have not taken the lead of a championship. That's gone to Truesdale. So you 2 second places, and you're in second place in the championship. But hopefully you can start putting some stronger performances in, start picking up some race wins, and start challenging for the title. But for now, another very, very strong result by yourself. So congratulations on the second place, and thank you for answering the questions.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. That then takes us on to our third and final driver in the podium interviews then for Aston Martin Red Bull Racing ILRT, Liam Yeo. First time on the podium, first time talking to me. The pleasure is all mine. Just talking about the incident between you and Rafa towards the end. Just give us your take very quickly on what happened there, which unfortunately did push you off the podium, but you managed to gain it back through Onyx Mir's penalty. But it must have been very frustrating for you to have that opportunity to maybe get past and see it slip away with the contact.
Yeah, I don't really know what happened there. I thought it was my fault, so I let him through. Yeah, in the aftermath, I think I should have stayed on the gas, but yeah, it is what it is.
Indeed it is, but a very strong performance from you throughout the evening at Bahrain. Is it one of your favourite circuits out there, or is it just one that you've managed to nail the setup and the lap times on to put in a good performance tonight? Or were you just a little bit surprised at your overall performance challenging for a podium throughout?
Actually, it was one of my weakest tracks on the calendar. I bottled Australia, so yeah, I hope to fight for the win in the next races.
And just looking ahead for the next few races, obviously a similar question I asked Rafa as well. You're 2 races in now, you're starting to get used to some of the drivers around you. Is it still a constant challenge when you come up against people that you haven't really fought with yet on track in the first 2 races, and sort of wondering how they're going to position their car? Are they going to be very aggressive under braking? Are they going to go for the dive bombs here and there? Or are you starting to get a good feel for the field around you and you feel comfortable battling certain cars as you make your way through?
Yeah, it takes some time to get used to the other drivers and to their driving style, but yeah, I get pretty quick used to it.
Well, I'm sure with some more performances in the future from yourself, we'll see you again on the podium. But a very, very strong race and result for you tonight. So congratulations on the 3rd place. And again, thank you for joining me for the interviews.
Thank you.
Thank you. That therefore brings the podium interviews and therefore the live stream to an end. 2 absolutely cracking races so far in ILR1, which I think we all really expected. The second half of Australia and the second half of Bahrain really living up to the hype and reputation that these drivers really excel at some of these circuits. Hopefully it will keep going for the next few races. China is up next week on Sunday at 5 o'clock, but the racing is not done at Bahrain. We have ILR 2 and 3 both kicking off at 7 o'clock in just over half an hour time, so do make sure to tune in to either of those streams or both of them as well to listen to the commentary and also see some more excellent driving. But for now, my name has been Alex Lilliart. Thank you very much to each and every single one of you that has tuned in during the stream and will indeed watch this race back. Congratulations again to our top 3 and commiserations to Onyx Mir, so close to another podium, but it's disappeared at the very end. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you at 5 o'clock next week.